What's going
Another
on?
left.
Well, sing it. Another harvest. Just
Yo.
another day. Manifest your promises. Another
Mm-hmm.
episode of Save the Date. I'm one of
What's
your
good,
hosts,
everybody?
Heath.
What up, y'all? This is Jamie, aka Jo the Pro. And
Yeah,
I ain't
check
gotta
us out.
tell you what it is, because you already know.
Yeah, check us out on at Save the Date now, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Really kicking it off flying in TikTok right now. We got a lot we're talking about, a lot of interesting topics related to dating sucks, modern dating that we just happen to talk about, opine about, and dialogue. Yes, yeah, of dating. So we're getting here another Save the Date Reacts video show. Happy to bring it to you. As usual, we got 4 videos for you covering a range of topics that pertain to dating or concepts related to love and romance, which you'll see some of today. They won't be necessarily about dating sucks or about the pain points of dating, but it's all related to how dating and romance come together in a modern context. We have everything from people who abstain from sex before marriage and then what happens once they do get married, to talking about being married and being the one, soulmates. So let's get right into it. Don't want to spoil any of it for you. Let's go to this first video. And this video is about you're not marrying the one, you're marrying an imperfect person. Let's watch this video and then we'll get right into it.
I think we confuse marrying the one with becoming the one.
Jamal, hold on, wait. You got to bless the people of God. Let me brace myself for it. Now teach.
I can't find the right one. He ain't got this, he ain't got that. And they're expecting what takes 30, 40 years to happen in 3 dates. God did not say marry the one. He said they shall become one flesh. That become is a lifetime journey of ups, downs, pains, traumas. We are not talking about something that is easy. Love is hard. You are marrying an imperfect person. As a husband and as a wife, your job is to help heal your spouse's wound, and you got to learn how to work with your spouse's weaknesses. When you marry your spouse, you are marrying their past, their present, and their future. I just had to ask the Lord, okay, God, help me as her husband. What I'm seeing is not a weakness. This is a wound. Father, help me be what she needs to be so this wound can heal.
Listen.
Brother, love is hard.
I said love is blind. No, love is arduous.
Love is hard.
So you know that guy, Quincy, by the way, he's the dude who interviews women on the street. He got really popular interviewing women in Nashville, dark-skinned brother. Does the flirty thing, text and presentation. He actually had one recently where he was talking to a woman and was like, at what point will you give up the box? She's like the second date. He's like, at what point will you start cooking? She's like, I ain't cooking for anybody. I'm not doing anything. And so what he's been doing now is these reflection videos on videos he interviews. And so he cuts to him sitting on a couch, a sofa somewhere, and he goes, hey, I kind of realize sex has become commodified, like me and you said here. It means nothing now. You can get sex easily. What actually is starting to become difficult is the effort required to get to where you want to go in a relationship. He's like, the funny thing is people want the effort. People want the outcomes that effort brings without doing effort. So yeah, you don't want to cook, clean, help, pay bills or anything, but those are the very same things. Doing those things consistently is what gives you the outcomes that you say you want, but you want the outcomes without the effort. And that just reminded me when I saw this video right now about how much effort goes into creating sustainable marriage. He just mentioned some of what you see 30 or 40 years takes time. I remember my mother even saying, there are people who can look at their spouse after a while. When an incident happens or there's some kind of cross communication in the family, maybe it's not between them, but between the child or children or other people in the family, and know what they're thinking. But that takes like 45 years to build that level of competency. It doesn't come easily. It's not going to be on the first night, the first week, the first year, the first decade. Now, you will always have outliers. There are always exceptions to the rule. But as my former boss and mentor used to say, she told me you can't manage by the exceptions. You got to manage by what the data is and what the rules are, because the rules typically come from a larger set of numbers, a larger set of people or data that informs why this practice or rule exists in the first place. So I thought he did a great job really highlighting the effort that goes into what you have to do if you want to have a successful marriage and how imperfections are part of the package.
Yeah.
We don't like to talk about that.
I think we
Imperfections are
do
part of
like
the
to talk
package.
about it. We
I'm talking about in modern dating. I think imperfections get papered over with success talk and manifestation talk, which I believe has its role. I tell people all the time, if you follow the 80-20 rule, what's the 80-20 rule? 80% someone of someone you enjoy, 20% is a work in progress. I'll tell you right now, if you find someone who is a 20% and can do these three things, it makes sense. Number one, they recognize they have a 20%. Because trust me, most people you can possibly marry will deny they even have 20% that needs to be worked on. Two, they're willing to listen to you about what that 20% is and how it impacts your life and your experiences with them. Three, they dedicate themselves to working on that 20%. And if that's you get a person who can do all three things, that'll change your life and make your marriage that much better. But trust me, you'll find somebody who won't even admit they have a 20%, which is a problem in and of itself.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like you said, love is hard. I think that people are talking about the problems and the issues at a very scary, alarming rate. I feel like that's a lot of what we hear about in the algorithm culture. Those are the hot takes that people are jumping on, talking about folks' issues and their flaws, red flags. We live in a very heavy notice and talk about and name red flag culture. And, a lot of it is just based around the call out, and it's not resolved with any or least understanding. It's not resolved with a whole lot of patience and care and curiosity. I mean, just from the standpoint of talking about flaws. But I'm gonna just go back to the video. I think his mindset is one that is missing a lot. Obviously, a modern dating today, I don't feel like I don't hear too many people talk from a standpoint of understanding in that way. I hear a lot more people talk about what they feel like they deserve. And, they're not thinking about recognizing their partner's weaknesses as wounds. They're recognizing them as flaws. They're calling them flaws, and then they're labeling their partner by the flaws. But I think his mindset to me is just very spot on and on what's necessary and needed and required to have a good onset to a marriage. Learning to be okay with and accept and like your person with all that they are. Like he said, you're not just marrying their present, you're marrying their past, you're marrying their present and their future. So you got to be okay with the flaws. You got to be okay with their highlights, their successes, and some of their downfalls, their pitfalls. You got to be okay with all of it. But this idea of the one, sometimes I do feel like it gets people kind of caught up in idealism.
Mhm.
And we're in a culture now where you can't tell people what they want is wrong. We don't want to say that. It's not that it's wrong, but it just might be like we said. Sometimes you got to investigate what parts of your desires are manufactured.
Yeah. So I want to go back to that whole piece about imperfections. And then I want to go back to what you just said. The imperfections for me, when I hear people talking, it's as if their person won't have any imperfections. That's what I mean by we're not talking about imperfections. Whereas he talked about imperfections being part of the package of the person that you're with. So people are talking about flaws and imperfections, but it's as if the person I'm waiting for won't have any. Where he's saying, no, the person that I am coupled and bonded with will have imperfections and I have to negotiate and live with it. And that's what I mean by people aren't talking about imperfections. They're not talking about it realistically as a part of the experience of marriage and long-term relationships.
Yeah.
You're going to have to interface with them completely and holistically. And then the other piece that I think is just as important is what you said about becoming the one. I don't think that I agree with him. I don't necessarily believe in soulmates. I think a lot of people could work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Who's willing to put the work in and what time frame? Some things are just a matter of timing, and that helps to drive who you sometimes end up with. And then the work. Are they willing to do the work? Have the patience, have the compassion, have the grace to grow with you.
Yeah. I feel like seems like a lot of people don't have either the capacity or the desire for the work. Like you said, they want the outcome. They want the one, whatever that means, whatever that's defined as, but the work. Sometimes part of the work is the waiting that's necessary for the one to come around.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another piece, that a lot of people don't like to talk about.
Yeah. It's the curated life based on all of the options that technology have given us. We've talked about this before. Customizing your devices has now created a calculus where you believe you can customize anything in your life,
everything. Yeah.
especially the person you're with. And people are now buttons, GUIs, levers that you could either push, pull, touch, calibrate in order for them to quote unquote act right or the way you want them to act. They come as is and you grow together.
Speaking of people coming as is and growing together,
Yeah. Let's
next
go to the second
video.
clip. This second clip is a banger. Everybody pay attention because this is about there's a man who can, will, and actually wants to.
2023, I was dating a guy who forgot my birthday, and at 5 p.m., he sent me $50. I sent him that $50 back, and I blocked him. Then in 2024, I was dating another guy who asked me what I wanted for my birthday. I told him what I wanted for my birthday. He proceeded to ask me my clothing size, my shoe size. But when my birthday came, nothing arrived. I never did see a birthday gift, not a shoe, not a shirt, not a card, not a balloon, nothing. I cut him off. Then come 2025, I'm dating a man about 4 months. I mentioned that I want to go to Aspen, Colorado, and a week later, that trip is booked, itinerary booked. Not only that, when we come back, I'm met with red roses, a charcuterie board, and a bottle of champagne. Why are you telling me this, Kyla Shay? I'm telling you this so that you don't A, settle for the man that forgets you, B, you don't settle for the man that overpromises and doesn't deliver or underdelivers. C, be willing to wait for the best and be willing to walk away from the worst. D, don't go into no situation bitter because being bitter will block your blessings. Don't allow your heart to be hardened by the disappointment of people who have not shown up for you. There is a man out there who can do it for you, that will do it for you, and that actually wants to do it for you. And you will not have to beg. You will not have to hold your breath. You will not have to plead. You probably won't even have to ask, because he will hear your desire and he will respond accordingly because he actually likes you.
Yeah, that last piece was the biggest piece.
Yeah, that embittered piece I really vibed with. I really vibed with that.
No, I was talking about if he likes you.
Well, yeah, if he likes you. Okay.
That's to me.
I was going off when she was alphabetizing and she was doing the A, B, C, D. Okay.
Bruh, to me,
Say
that's
more
the
about
biggest
that.
piece. That's the biggest piece. In the same way, I feel like a lot of times there's this chatter about traits like submission, protector, provider, and the conversation is kind of like, if you put me in my peak feminine, then I can be submissive.
Yeah.
Or it's like a if then. If you show me that you can be submissive, then I can be a protector or provider. I really feel like people have these things in them, but it takes someone that they like to bring it out of them. So yeah, somebody may only like you enough to send you $50. Somebody may only like you enough to do all of those other things. If they like you enough, they will do
Get your
those
shoe
things.
size and not fulfill it. Man, I don't give nobody no daggone Gucci shoes. Keep it moving. Keep it pushing.
But like she's saying, there's someone out there for you who wants to do those things, who likes to do those things. I mean, look at you, son. You talk about how you want to take care of all the bills. You want to be able to take care of your woman in a certain way, provide for them a certain way, for your woman that way. Now,
Absolutely.
it's in you in general, in
Yes.
theory, but in
Yes.
practice, you're doing it with the person that you like and who brought that out of you, or
Yes.
that you chose to do that with.
Yeah, that the operating system was already there, but it changed once you get with the person who really brings it out of you and gets that operating system, the upgrades is needed to meet their specific needs. Absolutely.
So that's all. When she says, if he likes you, to me, that's what it all hinges on. There are dudes that like you said, bro, there's a lot of men out there who want to do. They don't have the means to do it, but their mindset is, yo, if I had, I would be doing. So it's in them.
Yeah.
But it may take someone that they really like to bring it out of them where they execute on that.
Yeah. They get more intentional about how they're going to present themselves and make sure that they're meeting this person's needs and wowing them to the max.
Absolutely.
Wow,
Because it's usually in a man's inherent nature to do that for the person that he likes.
Yeah, the person
For the
he's really
people he
building.
loves. Yeah, for people that he's moved by. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just like it's in women to naturally be nurturing and caring in a certain way to the people that they love and, are close to.
To go back to the prophetess Jill Scott, you can tell me what to do if you're able to tell
If
me
you
what to
can
do.
tell me what to do, if you got that anointing, I'll fall up under it.
You can tell me what to do. You can tell me what to do.
That's such a
that's
good
a
quote.
bar.
That's
That's
such a bar, dog.
That's such a bar.
Yeah.
That is literally a bar.
Uh-huh.
I think that what she's highlighting here is important for many women who oftentimes, and I'm talking about in my own cipher, settle. Some of the women that I have befriended who've shared their deepest heart with me, deepest parts of their heart with me, you start to hear circumstances, connections, or lack thereof, where they gave everything and that person didn't even try to give them zilch. 0 would have been an improvement of what that man gave. And they didn't even get that. And it's good to hear someone encourage women to be thoughtful about their own sense of respect and their own sense of connection to an individual who actually wants to be around them. Now, obviously, she's touching base on material items because she mentioned them. That's important. That has its place. I also think it's important with other parts of your life, your time, your energy, your body, your vision, your future. There's so many other aspects of you that require that much level of care, as much as maybe some of the items that you may want that can go to a store and be purchased. And again, nothing wrong with that. It has its place. The second part I liked was about being embittered. Me and you were talking about this concept of spreading darkness. People get into relationships and they spread their darkness onto the other person, usually because of unresolved traumas, pain, hurt. I mean, terrible, unspeakable things have happened to people in their lives. And on the surface, they look fine. They look well put together. They have great jobs, great positions. They have access. They have friends. But once you're in their intimate circle, you realize how much pain is there. And then if they have not taken the time or invested the time to really get it out, they spread that darkness. Mm-hmm. And that will make someone who's showing up for another person bitter, because you say, dang, I left it all on the court for you. Meanwhile, you're sitting on the bench, you get up and walk out the game and we get demolished. For what? Because you just didn't. You told me you wanted to go to the game, you wanted to play. You could have just told me this wasn't what you were willing to do, and we could have parted ways amicably. But you get me all up and down, out of my comfort zone, only to be abused and used. And that's important because you can stay there for a very long time and miss the opportunity to encounter a man who you could tell him what you want for your birthday, and it's done lickety split.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was really good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think a part of this conversation also too has to be self-awareness. I don't know how she showed up for those dudes. You know what I'm saying? So it could have been a
It's
cause
just,
and effect thing. Like maybe you've shown this person that we don't know if she did that for his birthday, and he was just like, all right, well, if my birthday wasn't that much to you, then here's your 50, and we'll just call it even. We don't know, but I think.
mean, yeah, it's always taking someone's story at face value.
Yeah, just because it's self-reported. Like in situations where someone's, like I say on TikTok, bro, if it costs you your self-respect, it's overpriced. So if you know that you're showing up for someone a certain way and you feel like, hey man, they're not even meeting me here, I could just walk away clean. It doesn't have to become, like we talk about being embittered, it doesn't have to become a smear campaign. It's not all of a sudden going to be like, he's trash, even though the whole time you was messing with him, he's a great guy. You know what I'm saying? Or she's trash, even though the whole time you decided to be with her. Now she a hoe because, she wants to be with someone else. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be that. You just decide this no longer works for me, cut your ties, and you walk away. You don't have to become embittered. I mean, I did appreciate that point because a lot of people are bringing that to the game now. It's just a lot of darkness and anger and bitterness in the game now. If the dating pool has pee in it, to me, I would say that's what most of the yellow substance is people's bitterness and pain, which is real, but it's like they're carrying it forward and they're paying it forward to people that they're now trying to be with.
Self-limiting, for sure. Let's go to this next one. Nobody warned me about underwhelming sex or the shame around it.
Wife and I saved ourselves for each other, and our intimate life, it's incredible.
When we finally did have sex, it was really underwhelming, and it continues to be really underwhelming.
Nobody prepared me for the shame that I felt for consummating my marriage. I'm trying to play it safe on the socials, but for consummating my marriage. I was married now. I shouldn't feel shame, right? But if I've been telling myself, and if people have been telling me my whole life that this is a shameful act, and that all of a sudden, after I say I do, all that goes out the window, that's not how it works. As a Black girl growing up in church, all I heard was, don't talk about it, don't think about it, it's bad, boys are bad, don't talk to boys, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And then one day you'll get married and you'll have kids. How? How exactly? Because don't do it, right? Oh, but it's okay now. You can let your freak flag fly. And but like, what flag? What flag? Huh? 20 some odd years of telling myself it's bad, I'm gonna hate myself if I do it, and then it's just magically supposed to go away. That does not work. I'm not about to get into a debate with the Saints or anybody else for that matter about if you should do it, if you shouldn't do it, if you should wait. That's between you and God. It ain't got nothing to do with me. But what I will say is that we need to normalize having real, honest conversations about it, what it is, what it isn't, what consent is, what pleasure is, because God created all of that. See what I'm putting down? Far too many, and I know this on good authority, far too many Christian women and probably Christian men are not enjoying it. They're not having a good time. It's boring, it's painful, it's not satisfying, it don't last long. And you trying to come hither to Kirk Franklin. Now listen, I'm not about to tell nobody what they should do in the privacy of their own home. But don't think I'm about to be throwing it back to all the glory belongs to you, oh God.
Brother.
First off, I'm gonna hit him up right now. First off, what have I said numerous cases? We need to stop overemphasizing, in my opinion, when it comes to education of young men and women, the value of the vagina, the value of the woman's body. Now, a woman's body is valuable, but what we're doing is what she just said. Keep your legs closed. 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 Hitting that nail every single day with thou shall not language, command and control language. Then you don't have a transition period or a bridge period where someone learns to discover themselves, become intimate with themselves, their emotional body, their physical body, before they now are going to be intimate with someone else's emotional body or physical body. Where is the intrapersonal experience and the self-experience before it becomes an interpersonal experience? None of that happens. All you hear is, you don't do it, you don't do it. Okay, you got married, you can do it. Now what you want to happen? Someone's been on sometimes 25, 26, 27 years, 30 years of programming, and you want them to drop it because, okay, now you can. And many times that comes at a cost, especially when nowadays sex, as we mentioned earlier, commodified, doesn't mean anything. And someone says, well, I gave you my body. Well, that doesn't mean anything to me because I care about your character, or I need you to cook and clean, or I need you to pay bills, or fill in the blank. You're up against a whole bunch of other POVs, points of view about sex, about physical intimacy, emotional intimacy, and the expectation of a successful relationship. And all you've given this person, all you've given this culture, because she's talking about a particular culture, is don't do it. Don't do it. And it's doing a disservice because you're not allowing young people, men and women, because there definitely is a control of women's bodies baked into this culture and process, an opportunity to encounter their own sense of intimacy, to develop their own sense of intimacy. And then they start having a connection and physical intimacy with someone else. And again, like she says, I'm keeping it PG for the socials. That's why I'm not using the word physical intimacy as opposed to just sex. They start doing it and it's garbage. It's garbage. Not like, okay, the first time out, we were just too excited. We didn't ripped off the clothes after we came from the wedding hall. Nah, man, this is like 2 or 3 years in and I don't know how to communicate what I like. I don't even know what I like because I've never been allowed to know what I like. All I know is you're supposed to gratify me, but you're on the other end not communicating and not knowing how to gratify me because I'm not communicating to you. You're not even communicating within yourself.
You never learned how.
You never learned how.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to experiment. You weren't allowed to have fun with your body. You weren't allowed to dance with your body emotionally, spiritually, psychologically.
Yeah.
And I think there's plenty of ways for those people who are Bible thumping Christians or people, like you said, in and out of the church to do that without also supporting some of the other behaviors or media that they may want to avoid. There is a comfortable, trust me, a beautiful, comfortable middle, a Shangri-La, if I may use that term, of opportunity and a space where people can just encounter themselves wonderfully and beautifully and in preparation, not just for time with someone else, but time with themselves.
Yeah.
And that you heard me say this over and over again, that don't culture and the way that we're forcing it, especially on young women, as she said in that video. I told you, and I've said before, is highly problematic and is driving, I believe, a lot of the anger and disaffection we see around physical intimacy in the modern church and in most likely modern lives.
Yeah. That's why sometimes it's that religious dogma can be so damaging. And the people who are passing it down, circulating it out, maybe they don't know that is that damaging because it's still here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, times have changed.
And I'm 45, and the same things I've been hearing about sex since I was a kid, being raised in church, still hearing it. Those people still say the very same things.
Yeah, yeah. It's like doop, 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 doop,
Yeah.
doop. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And it's like, while I do see a need for some of those conversations, especially as it relates to young girls, because of how I think women should be revered. Yeah, man, I just think it gets messy because, like you're saying, that programming is outdated. We can't keep having the same conversations. We can't keep approaching things the same way. You can't do thou shalt not. Like you said, that language is very harmful. It's very limiting. And it, like you said, it definitely doesn't give people the opportunity for exploration. Now, listen, this might be a stretch, but bear with me because I want to take this opportunity to do this. In our previous iteration of this podcast, it was called Love God, Love Sex. Image wise, that's how I always saw intimacy, as a worship experience, a spiritual experience. So, like, the ways in which I was always taught God he's never supposed to be interfaced with or experienced the same way because of the infinite nature of who he is, his power, his omniscience. He can always show up how you need in the moment. That's what sex can be for a lot of people. Sometimes you need it to be healing. Sometimes you need it to be affirming. So, you know what I'm saying?
Get rough. Yeah,
But
yeah,
you
yeah.
can,
Role
but you
play.
can experience the diversity and the depth of all of the different ways you can show up for that if you give people a chance to explore. But if you tell them you got to show up at one, you got 3 positions you can do, it's got to be, for this long, you can't explore this, you can't touch this hole, you can't lick this place. You're not really giving people a lot of opportunity to express and experience the diversity and depth of their character as a lover. You need that. You need that
Yeah,
opportunity to explore. You need different worship experiences so that you can experience and interface with your person and see them show up in different ways.
for sure. And I'm grateful to this content creator for naming their truth and I would say surfacing this truth, because it's time for us to have, as she said, deeper conversations about intimacy. And it's more than just the physical act of penetration. It's a lot more to it as far as who you are and who you're becoming. And another thing that I thought was appropriate was just how miserable people are. How miserable people really are right now in their sex life. When you think about all the research that's coming out now about the importance of physical intimacy as a regulating activity for your hormones, for your body, for both men and women and men, and the physiological impact of consistent physical intimacy when you are connected in a healthy manner to someone else.
That's a
People
big
are missing
narrative to
out on
say
that.
it that way. Because,
Yeah.
a lot of times we focus on one or the other, but it's really the consistency of it in
Yes.
a connected dynamic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it brings out so much.
I did want to raise this other point too, because I just thought it was poignant. She wasn't only saying keep your legs closed is what she was told, but like boys are bad. And I feel like that is also a very damaging and harmful programming around sex that young girls do have, especially in the church, because I saw how that gets administered. And they do take that out in society. And they do walk around with a bombastic side eye about guys sometimes. And they do have a general viewpoint that men are trash, men are horrible, men are dangerous. And I think, that could be damaging. I think that could be just as harmful as, only talking about keeping your legs closed.
Yeah. But and my hope is, as more of us younger millennials, exennials, even Gen Xers are slowly maturing into the power seats and the power positions and the elder seats and the elder positions in the quote unquote church, we will not just adopt a posture of business as usual, but that we will understand why business was conducted the way it was, understand its historical significance and its meaning, put it on the side for the time being, and start to create conversations that are more informative, connected, and empowering so that people can make more informed, godly decisions, connected spiritual decisions about themselves and their bodies. And I'm going to go back to that, godly decisions. As this person said, really to have your own relationship with the Lord. You could still hold on to the abstinence. You could still hold on to marriage being the best container for your physical intimacy, but there's has to be a better, healthier space to operate from and not just leave people to the default programming of don't do it. Now it's the honeymoon and I'm actually afraid to touch you. And I'm afraid for you to touch me.
Yeah.
So
I feel like at the end of the day, I will say this. The real problem is not the underwhelming intimacy. You know what I mean? I think it's the shame that people feel about talking about it. That to me is like the real problem. Obviously, we can have all types of conversations about what makes things bad. And to me, sex is not that hard. You can definitely find ways to make it good. But when you feel shame about talking about something, you're only going to not talk about it. The problem is only going to get larger. And one day it's going to implode. So, yeah. And on that note, we got the last one for the day.
Yep.
They told me not to make his lunch. Oh, okay. They told me not to fold his laundry. Yeah. They told me not to pay for dates. Okay. Yeah. Take me through that. Take me through that. Girl, that's because they miserable asses wanted you to be miserable and lonely just like them. Have you ever heard of misery loves company? Girl, jealousy and hate comes in all forms. And don't ever let that shit fool you because it's a friend or a family member. Because matter of fact, them be the main ones that be hating and jealous and want you to not, shine like they don't. Girl, bye. You better do what you want for your man and not listen to a goddamn soul. Period.
So this video was making its rounds.
Yeah.
The first part of that video was making its rounds.
Say the first part, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'd seen that floating around.
Last month, right?
Yeah, last couple of months. Because she has that song, Take Me to That. And that's a relatively new. Yeah. Put that wham in a circle. Yeah. I immediately think about that Quincy by the way quote, which is people want the efforts and outcomes that only doing effort can make, but they don't want to do the effort.
Yeah.
They don't want to do the effort for the outcomes that require effort to manifest. Another way of saying it. And I get where people have been used and abused, taken advantage of, railroaded, well, I don't use that word shank anymore, but really taken to the tilt and victimized. You paid me a compliment earlier. You said, you're the kind of guy who wants to provide for his wife, pay all the bills, really anticipate needs, serve needs. You know who I am, and I appreciate that you said that here. I think Chris Rock had a joke that when he was dating women, he paid off more tuition than the United Negro College Fund. And that's somebody I can definitely end up being, because as the wealth increases, as the opportunities increase and they manifest, that's just who I see myself being. And recognizing, as most people would say, you'll get taken advantage of. There's some women who really do like to cook for their man, pick up dry cleaning for their man, make errands for their man, but that those same women can be taken advantage of. But if you don't put up effort, if you're not trying to show and signal a desire to connect and do for and with, it shouldn't just be, for.
Yeah.
It's for and with.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't think you should be a slave now, guys. Don't be servile. You're a human being who's entitled to their own sense of self, personhood, and your own opinions about yourself in the world. That's who that person should be interfacing with. But to do for and with is just super important. If you want to show someone, I'm about it. You're trying to tell me, and this is coming from a guy's perspective now to a woman. That's all I can really talk about. That's my lived experience. I remember when I was dating my wife, it was like October and iPods were big. This is how long ago this is, guys. Back in the misty distant past when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. And she was like, yo, I've never had an iPod, this, that, and the third. I took it as a note. It might have been November. I already had it on deck, put everything together. She opened up her Christmas present, brand new spanking, beautiful black iPod. Because I was like, okay, I took that as a hint. Now, I don't know if she was throwing it out as a hint to see what I would do, or if she was just talking. Either way, she got that iPod. The point I'm making is, imagine me dating her, hearing that hint, because I'm a good listener, or I'd like to believe that I focus on becoming a good listener every day, and saying, you ain't my wife, I ain't no goddamn iPod. Come on, guys. Come on. Like, for me, it's like, it's Christmas. It's around Christmas time. Get the person the iPod. Not that big of a deal. Now, the person says, I'm looking at a piece of real estate known as the Empire State Building, and they're selling it for $800 million. You ain't got $800 million. That's different. But an iPod or some of the other items that some people want, I got a homeboy of mine. He's on average spends a G on the women he dates for Christmas.
Don't
That's
get his
not.
spot blown up. You know somebody gonna be a G. It should be fine. No, I'm just messing with
Yeah, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? And this is back 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when he was just starting out working, entering the workforce. That's, when he wasn't even making big bank like that, but that's what he wanted to do. Like you said, he wanted to do for the women that he dated. If he was in a relationship, that's what he was doing for you. He's making sure your Christmas is spectacular.
Joyful. A joyful Christmas.
What I'm saying is, are you trying to say you shouldn't be paying? Like, again, this is just my opinion. Somebody can talk about the woman's side. I'm not a woman. There are things that I need to signal in my mind and want to signal in my mind to show you this is the beginning of a relationship where you can see that I want to do things for you and that I am reliable. Now, being reliable is not just material items. It's also listening. It's also being responsive. Things happen. You need me to show up somewhere, at a funeral, at a wedding. Bad day, I'm listening. I'm showing up. We weren't planning to see each other, but I came by your place just to listen and vibe with you. Make sure you're good. Make sure you're fed. I don't know. This effort thing has become so entangled in our bitterness and in our pain. And I get it. We are in pain and we are embittered, myself included. You're not alone. But if I can't signal to somebody that who I am and how I want to provide and take care of them, what do I really have? What do I really have? This woman wanted to cook and clean for him, worked out for her. I can say, yeah, there's a woman who cooked and cleaned and ended up disastrous. There's some men who paid for dates and great dinners to find out that woman didn't really like him.
Dates and dinners.
So he's 8 to 10 dates in.
Right.
Does that mean if he goes on another first date with a woman, I don't think he shouldn't pay because he's been hurt?
Fair question.
If you've had people showing up late to dates, does that mean you show up late to a date now with a new person because you've had a couple of days show up late for you? Or do you still operate with a sense of respect for time for that other person and for you, anticipation of connection and being enthusiastic about this could be my person, I could be their person?
Fair question. Fair line of inquiry.
It's just like, you got to show effort, guys.
Yeah.
And
I don't. Go ahead.
I don't mind stepping the effort and doing it in tranches, but you're gonna have to show some effort.
Yeah, and you know how I feel about people classifying things as boyfriend and girlfriend things. Like he let me stay over, or I have stuff at his crib, or she cooked for me, and like if that's in somebody, like you're saying, if that's in you, it's gonna come out. That's something somebody's going to do that because that's who they are. It's not to make an impression on you. It may be to show you that they think you're worth that effort, but don't think of yourself so highly that you should just feel entitled to that. You know what I mean? Like that's just what they're supposed to do.
Show some appreciation. That's the other side of the conversation.
Yeah. Show some appreciation for it. Man, I like what you just brought up because there really is no black and white cut and dry to this. You could tell people to show effort, and like you said, it can end up disastrous. You could tell people to show effort, and it ends up with a successful outcome. And I don't know if there's any data to really support.
Yeah, either
scenario. This is one of those things where it's a gamble, and you really have to just take a chance and live out of your authenticity. So, like, if you show up with final boss energy, and that's just who you are, and you quote unquote become a mark for girls who like that or for people who like that. And by final boss energy, we define that as someone who is moving at a peak level of serving. From top to bottom, soup to nuts, anticipating needs. They're taking cues. They've listened. They got Apple Notes you'd have never even thought about. Of all the stuff that you've mentioned for planning for future.
Things you said in passing that to you were just fancies.
Right.
And the next thing you know, on Flag Day.
It's manifested. Yeah. He didn't even know, but he had that. They had that already planned out.
In the tuck. Yeah. You mentioned some weird once in a lifetime shoes that can be dropping. You didn't think nothing about it. Here they are in a box for you.
Yeah.
Whatever. And we always go to material items. It could be, I went over your friend's house for Friendsgiving. I showed up. I brought food. I helped serve. I cleaned up just to show your friends and just be the kind of person who's contributing and making sure everyone's good on Friendsgiving and I'm being a good contributor.
Because that's just who I am.
That's who I am.
I show up that way. In my regular relationships that have nothing to do with romance, that have nothing, that don't have a payoff on the other side of it. This is just how I show up and who I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, listen, bro, that's a good point. Because initially, I think I was going to talk about why effort is needed, and it is. You know, you did surface that as well. You talked about it that as well. But it is, yo, how do I manage the uncertainty of showing all of this effort and maybe not getting anything on the other side of it? That's tough. That's
Yeah.
because, a lot of women are probably saying, I do need to reserve certain things for a guy who's showing me a certain level of
Yeah.
interest. For some
Tranches. That's right.
guys, you're
Tranches.
gonna say, I do have to reserve some of these resources, or just the access to them that I give. Sometimes I do have to be slow with, opening a treasure trove to certain levals because I don't want to be
Hmm.
taken care of. Because maybe I have been gotten in the past,
Bamboozled.
played in the past.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly. No,
maybe I
listen, we
have been
didn't
a
land on
mark.
no boo. No boo landed on us.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got me thinking about that. How do you really navigate the uncertainty of, this is who I am? I've created this standard for myself and I want to live authentically,
Yes.
but I really could be a victim. I could be victimized. I could be the person, like you said, 8, 10 dates in, and you're realizing, oh my God, they really didn't like me at all. They was just using me
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
they
Fill in the
just liked
blank.
how I made them feel when they were around me. Yeah. Fill in the blank. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just what I know one thing we can't do: demonize effort.
Yeah, for sure.
And some of that, it just appears to be
Hmm.
demonized.
Yeah.
You have to give some type of effort.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because you have to signal that you're serious for
Hmm.
those who are serious.
Yeah.
But there are people who will signal like they're serious only to get what they want out of you. I just saw a post by a woman who said a lot of men who are players could easily just tell the woman that they're playing, hey, listen, I just want to have a consensual physically intimate relationship. But what they do is the real rub is that they get what they want from lying and from beguiling. And I think that's true for some people. They get off on the game of it all, not just the fact that I could easily, plainly, directly just say, I would like X. Are you okay with that? Now that has its own ball of wax, but at least you're leading with consent and honesty. But for some people, the fruit doesn't taste good unless it's stolen. Like your man said in the Game of Thrones, I got a new necklace. Did you pay the iron price for it?
Right.
Which means,
Yeah.
did you steal
Did
it?
you steal it or
No, I purchased it.
did you get it in
You know,
blood?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Some people, they have a culture of paying the iron price.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Did you get it in blood or was it just given to you?
Yeah. No, you didn't get it in blood, and it becomes a whole
Yeah.
game for people. It's wrapped up in their identity of who they have beguiled, who they have lied to, the levels of subterfuge they've engaged in.
The dudes be
You
out
know,
here with whole, war plans on the
yeah,
wall. Like,
seriously.
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, yeah, like a game of Risk with
Who
the
they gonna
red
take
pieces and
down?
the blue
Yup.
pieces. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
That's
so
so
I
crazy.
get it. There have been some devilishly mendacious people,
Hmm.
but effort is still required.
Yeah.
Not an easy issue to unpack or provide a straightforward answer. It really is a soul searching answer that
Hmm.
requires you, as the one who's pursuing love and ready to receive love, to determine.
Got to do some introspection
Yeah,
for
there's
that.
no platitude, bromide, no aphorism I can give you that just solves the problem for you. It won't. There's certain things that matter to me. I will say from a guy's perspective, one of the things I've said to Jay before is selecting a woman that you actually want to spend time with that you like. So sometimes I feel like men go on all these dates with multiple women because at times it looks like they are either having fun, trying to beat, and also trying to find love. It's like all these outcomes in a bag, and whatever they shake out, they take, okay, I still wanted that. That's not what I wanted, but I'll take that, or I'll take this. And I'm saying, if you really find somebody who's presented well to you and you've identified them as a major connection and just double down on them, I would argue the likelihood is increased that that would be reciprocated and you would find someone who actually likes you and actually appreciates and wants to connect with you for who you are and what you can do, especially when you bring final boss energy.
Yeah.
That's just one again, it's probabilities.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with guarantees. I can't give anyone guarantees.
Yeah. That's exactly why I was smiling like that, because I was like, man, it sounds great when you do it like that. Logically, the logic sounds very sound.
Yeah. But
But
some
it's like
people aren't there emotionally either.
that's another piece of it.
Depending if you're in your 20s, you're making good money, maybe you do want to settle down, but then you're getting some opportunities for fun. So you're doing both. Like, I mean, I'm open, but I'm still going to take this one to Turks and Caicos, or we're still going to go here and go to this upstate, cabin while it's snowing outside. And and she is, and I'm going to pay for it, and we're going to have a great time. But if it turns, it turns. If it don't turn, it don't turn. And some people I notice know that something's not going to turn, but they hang out there because we're fun to be around and it's fun to do, but it won't be fun forever. You're not my fun forever person.
I don't know if you remember this on The Breakfast Club. Dr. Umar Johnson was on there about 10 years ago, and he had made a comment to the effect of, when you have an oppressed class that cannot achieve what the oppressor class has, they start accepting the second best thing to it, basically. So if you can't have the freedoms, you start accepting the things that look like it. I feel like that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You want the real thing at the end of the day. You want the love that lasts for a lifetime. You want the long-term love and commitment. But in absence of it, we settle for things that look like it. These fun little situationships that last us and
a
keep us
year, 2
afloat.
years. Yeah. You can always call them even once you stop hanging out actively, because you can still get some residual payoffs.
And you don't want to put that at jeopardy or that at risk, so you don't make that serious at all. You keep it a situationship and you let certain things fly. And it's like, yo, I know I'm worthy of more. I should be determining more for myself or demanding more for myself, but I don't want to scare this. I don't want to lose this, even though I know this is not even the real thing. This is what's getting me over. So I got to maintain this. It's tough. People are definitely settling for a lot out here. On that note, we
guys,
hope you guys listen. I'm sorry. Let me say this real quick, because I know it's always in our heart to give hope to people. So, we hope in all of the ways that we've talked about. Like he said earlier, we're not necessarily talking about pain points, but as things come up on this podcast that may be difficulties or challenges that you face, we do want you to always walk away with some type of hope. Not every situation is going to be good, but not everyone has to be bad either. Some were meant for you to learn from. So hopefully it's not just all right, I'm done with it for everybody. We see a lot. I don't know if you've seen it, bro, but that's a lot. A lot of the comments in our TikToks are,
It's
I'm
like that.
done.
Yeah,
I'm over
I'm
with
single.
it.
My
Yeah,
nervous
forget
system, and
about it.
I get it. Sometimes you need to take a powder. Your nervous system is
Absolutely.
overwhelmed, and you may need to take 6 months, a year or two off of dating.
Yeah.
For sure. We're not arguing that.
Yeah.
That is your life, your responsibility, and kudos to you. What we're saying is, when you're ready to get back out there, there's got to be some effort. You can step it, you can phase it in, you can do it in tranches. All up to you. I'm just saying there has to be effort.
Gotta be there.
It doesn't have to be everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah, but it's gotta be there. As you like to say, it may not be at the bullseye, but it's gotta be on the dartboard. Yeah.
For sure.
And on that note,
another episode of Save the Date. Guys, check us out. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube at Save the Date Now. Until next time, I'm Heath.
Jamie, y'all.
Take care.